Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. How's everybody doing? Ooh, we're a little off center. Oh, that's even worse. Hello. How's everybody doing? Happy Sunday. How is everybody doing out in YouTube land? I hope you're all doing well. Ground Punch, thank you very much for the musical compliment. I can't take any credit for it because I put on a chill PS1 mix. Yeah. Unfortunately, the chill mix gets the credit. But yeah, how's everybody doing? Weirdly, right? I don't know if it's things we'll get into later, but I felt really nervous about this stream for some reason. I don't really know why. I've been streaming on the internet for absolutely ages. You know, like probably on and off, maybe 5 or 6 years. For some reason, I felt really nervous going before this one. My heart was going a little bit. You know, it was a really weird one. But yeah, how is everyone? Skyrion, how are you? Evening to you, my friend. So, Sean, I'm playing Bioshock Infinite Burial at Sea Part 2. Nice. I hope you didn't find my comments about it to be too horrible. I'm sorry. Cram, hello from Russia. You're the best. Hello. Hope life's going well in Russia. Adrian, howdy. Great Bioshock video. Thanks for indulging my argument in the comments. What game is next on your essay plate? Well, we might talk about it in this video, in fact. But we'll get to it because I don't know how many of you in the chat have been to one of our post retrospective streams before, but we do base it around a dodgy little presentation. So I do have a presentation for you guys. We will get to that in just a moment. I guess we'll chat for a bit. We'll let people trickle in, you know, and then we'll get to the presentation. And in the presentation, we're gonna discuss Bioshock. We're gonna discuss YouTube, and we're gonna discuss what's next for I Finished a Video Game. So hopefully that all sounds interesting. This presentation is a little longer than previous ones. It's 13 slides long. So yeah, I hope you are ready for that. Although to be fair, if you didn't have the patience is maybe a little strong, but like, you know, the interest, the inkling for you know, long things, then I would presume that you wouldn't be here in the first place. So yes, so I see a lot of talk about YouTube restricted mode and YouTube age verification, that sort of stuff. We're definitely going to be talking about that in this stream because, yeah, holy shit, this is some whack nonsense by a platform that has always teetered on the edge of whack nonsense, but we might be staring down the barrel of some extremely annoying nonsense. Max, hello, how are you doing? Chris Walker, this video got me playing Bioshock again. That's awesome to hear. Did anyone else in the chat decide to dive back into Bioshock after watching the video? I always say that's like the ultimate comment. Even though I really enjoy seeing people's theories, seeing people post counterpoints to my arguments in the video, seeing people engaging with points I've raised or saying stuff like that. The ultimate compliment is when someone says, "Oh, I watched the video and it made me want to play Bioshock again," or "It made me want to play Dishonored," or Parasite Eve, something like that. I always think that's the ultimate compliment. So I'm interested to know if anyone did. I know a few people did because obviously they said it in the comments. Did you read the Bioshock Rapture book, Nico? Good question. No, I didn't read the book. I was torn as to whether to include it because essentially, I guess we'll talk about this a bit in the presentation. My original aim had been for this to be a short video, and by the time it got to when I might include the novel, it was quickly turning into a long video, and I decided to not include the book and just stick purely to the story of like Ken Levine and Irrational Games and Bioshock, the broad story of the video games, rather than including the book. But I did feel not good about doing that because obviously there's some series I've done like Metroid and Parasite Eve where I really get into the written literature. But I never know when to do it, when to not. I don't want to make it be a thing that I always do because there are some series that have so much outside stuff. And I just feel like it turns into sort of a long book review that happens to cover video games in some places. I hope that makes sense. Saw you wish the Crawl happy birthday the other day in the Crawl birthday live stream. Always enjoy seeing channels I like being friends. Also happy to catch one of your live streams again. Yeah. He's an awesome dude. We've hung out together and we've done podcasts together in the past. I think he's an absolutely awesome guy. I almost wish that he would like just go full time on YouTube because I think his videos are absolutely great. Like I always keep up on them. He has a particularly good channel because I don't actually play very many dungeon crawlers. I played like a few here and there. Like I played like Kingsfield 4, like Lunacid, like some JRPG style dungeon crawlers. But I'm not like super versed in the genre. And he's like the expert, and I always really like looking at like genre experts. And also he's got really good taste in music as well. We talk about music sometimes. I need to message him again. I saw his birthday live stream and I was like, damn, I haven't spoken to him in ages. I need to send a message. Complete side note, have you played Claire Obscure Expedition 33? I highly recommend it. It is a masterpiece. I have played it. I haven't actually finished it yet. I'm in Act 3. I'm right at the end. I'm basically doing all the post-game stuff. So far, I think it's a fantastic game. 10 out of 10. Like, believe the hype. It's a fantastic game. I really, really enjoyed it. I would say that the opening... Maybe the opening, like 2 hours, is probably the best JRPG style opening we've seen in a game in like 10 years. I think it's fantastic, completely gripping. I could almost feel myself with a little tear in my eye as that introductory kind of sequence came to an end. I thought it was just beautifully put together, so beautifully acted. The use of music was amazing. The shot selection was amazing. The graphics, for such a small team on the debut game, it's an outrageous achievement. Now, I know Silk Song has just come out, and that's got to be like a huge front runner for Game of the Year. But I would love it if Claire Obscure wins, just because, you know, it's come out of nowhere, you know. But at the same time, if Silk Song wins, you got to kind of say fair play, you know. I presume a lot of people are playing Silk Song in the chat. It seems like it's like 500,000 concurrent players on Steam for an indie game made by 3 people. Holy shit. Yeah, incredible achievement. Absolutely love it. I love Donkey Kong Bonanza too, but I know 33 will win. I mean, I hope it does. But then again, last year I was a firm believer in Balatro winning Game of the Year. Sadly, it was not to be. The fairy tale story was not to be of a poker roguelike winning Game of the Year. But we'll see. Hey, Liam. Hope you're doing well, Matt. I know YouTube has been doing some worrying stuff lately, but I still strongly feel that individual voices will prevail, either here or elsewhere. I hope so, my friend. I really hope so. I hope you're doing well too, man. Liam Triforce, another great channel. Check him out, guys. I'm sure you... I mean, the crossover in subscribers has got to be like... like, the Venn diagram of our various subscribers has got to be like, surely like a perfect circle at this point, you know. But if you're not, check out his channel. He's a great guy. He makes good videos. Hi from Colombia. Big fan of your videos. Abogado who? Thank you very much. That's amazing to hear that you live in Colombia and you're watching my stuff. How is life in Colombia? And how are video games in Colombia? More to the point. That's what I'm interested in. I don't know if anyone saw, but there was a video doing the rounds on YouTube. I don't think it like really like popped off. But it was about growing up playing games in the Middle East. And I found it so interesting. It was talking about how like piracy was like super common and like it was like super PlayStation dominated. There was like no Nintendo. It's always really interesting to hear what it's like growing up with video games or playing video games outside of Japan and America, and obviously like in my case the UK, because that's where I grew up, so I know the video game culture there fairly well. I always think it's really interesting because, like, you know, these markets are like huge and there's like millions and millions of people there playing video games, and yet the voices online are so dominated by American and Japanese perspectives. It's really interesting to know. So I want to know more about Colombian video games. But yeah, what else have I been talking about? We were talking about Claire Obscure, very good game. Talking about Liam Triforce, very good channel. Yeah, I wonder when we should get to the presentation. We've been going for 20 minutes. Don't know how long to let people trickle in for. Maybe we'll give it a couple more minutes. Since you played so many games, what do you think is the best game to introduce gaming to my son when he'll be like 3 or 4 years old? Good question. That is a good question. I guess it's tricky to say. It'll need to be something simple, you know, not something too hard. Maybe something multiplayer, I would say, could be good. I think some of the first games I ever played were games where I would play with someone, because that can kind of make up for skill issues. Because obviously at 4 years old, he's not going to be very good at video games. Maybe base it just off of what he finds interesting. Play a bunch of different stuff, see what he's into. You never know. Like, he might be a sports fiend. He might be a budding, you know, esports guy. He might have a brilliant mind for strategy. He might be the greatest Crusader Kings 3 player of all time. I'm trying to remember what the first game I ever played was. I think it might have been Alex the Kid. Or potentially like a PC game, maybe. Worms 1, potentially. What year did that come out? 1995. No, that's too late. I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe Alex the Kid was my first game, or Golden Axe. It could have been, actually. Something Sega would have been my my first game, I would imagine. First console game was Street Fighter 2 on SNES. That's a solid start. Although the problem is that if you start with Street Fighter 2 on the SNES, really there's only down from there. Oh, look, we got a reply about Colombia. In Colombia, I grew up surrounded by piracy. NES, PS1, PS2, Xbox 360. But if we're talking development, there's not big name projects. A lot of indie games. We do a lot of game jams though. That's awesome. Funny that it's all piracy as well. I feel like outside of the Japanese, American, and European market, 90s and 80s video game companies just didn't give a fuck, so just piracy just like ruled supreme. I find that really funny. But it's kind of cool in a way, because you had access to probably more video games, well, definitely than I would have here in the UK. I feel like in the UK we got shafted for games. Like, so many American releases that just didn't come over here. Japanese releases, you're dreaming. The only thing that's good is that you good access to like German style adventure games, German style strategy games, and like French weird stuff. So like we were talking about it. We were playing Magic the Gathering 2 nights ago, and we were talking about how over here in the UK, Rayman is like a huge deal. Like Rayman, the first Rayman on PlayStation 1, massive deal here in the UK. But I don't think Rayman was that big of a deal elsewhere in the world. Like, not nothing, but not as big of a deal as he was here in the UK. I always think that's quite funny. It's funny how different countries and different regions have like different relationships with games, purely based on what was available. It's interesting. Stanley Parable was the game I suggested for my girlfriend to get into gaming, and she loved it. Doesn't require much game knowledge or input, but shows how creative games can be. Excellent recommendation for someone trying to get into games. I'm not sure it would work for a 4-year-old though. I think some of the meta commentary might go straight over his head. But an excellent shout. Hi from the Discord. It's Wooden. Be well, fan. No worries, man. Thank you. And enjoy Minus the Bear. It's nice seeing people from the. I saw someone say it's nice to see people from the Discord in chat. Discord's been really cool over the last few months. I don't know if there's anyone who's like just seeing about like the sort of wider I finished a video game multiverse. There's a Discord, and it's pretty fucking good. I don't know if anyone. I need to put the God. I don't know how to do anything on YouTube anymore. If someone wouldn't mind putting their invite link to the Discord into the chat, that would be absolutely awesome. For some reason on OBS, my little bar to speak has like disappeared. So I don't know how to do that. But that would be really cool if someone could do that. But obviously, if no one does, you'll have to go on a treasure hunt to find out how to join. Matt would low-key be a fire narrator in a game like Stanley Parable. Do you think? I don't know. I think the trouble is, to get a little self-indulgent here, I think your relationship with my voice and my relationship with my voice are very, very, very different things. So because you guys only hear my voice and hear it when it's in this like nice edited, nice curated YouTube form, you probably have a good relationship with it. You don't have to sit through 3 weeks of 14-hour days of editing, slowly learning to hate your own voice, slowly learning to hate every single point you've ever written down in a script. By the time it comes to release a video, I'm like, why would anyone ever want to listen to this piece of shit? And then it comes to release the video, and I'm like, oh, it's okay. It's okay. People like it. I gotta remember that I'm not making them for me. I'm making them for other people. What else we got? What else we got here? Can confirm the prevalence of piracy in Latin America. Here in Peru, it is still a thing and probably will continue to be. Honestly, can't say it's a bad thing 100%. No, that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying earlier. I think it's good because you get games for cheap. You're basically not impacting the production of the games because, with no disrespect meant, the companies kind of like don't give a fuck about those regions, which is why piracy is able to make such an inroad. So you essentially get cheap games and you get to enjoy them in exactly the same way we do. I can't link the Discord for whatever reason. Cinematic universe is too powerful. Oh god, right. Shall I try and do it? This is where I'm gonna completely destroy. Oh, is this how it works? Ooh, there we go. I think that's it. There we go. It's done. There's the link. Feel free to join the Discord if you want. It's pretty good. We have actual good, high-quality video game discussion in there. It's not just crappy arguing about politics. In fact, politics is actually completely banned. Any sort of politics is completely banned. So we must be one of the last vestiges of online spaces where you can come and actually just talk with people casually about video games in a way that's like fun and totally fine. I think in the entire time the Discord's been running, I think I've banned 2 people ever. So if that's not a ringing endorsement of the vibe there, what is? Bioshock video was amazing, man, but I think you inadvertently convinced me to just stick to the first one. Yeah. I can see that. It's like it's weird because I think the flaws in Bioshock 1 easier to forgive than the flaws in Bioshock 2 and Bioshock Infinite. And definitely the flaws in Burial at Sea. But yeah, I'm glad to hear it had an impact on you all the same. It's the worst thing is making a video like this and no one having any response to it, which I was really worried was going to happen with Bioshock because it's a subject that's been done to death. So it's always like nerve-wracking putting yourself into that space because you're like, do I have anything fresh to say? And I don't know. I don't know if I did have anything fresh to say. I think some of the stuff about the development and about Ken Levine and about the history of Irrational was definitely fresh. I'm sure that was fresh on YouTube. Some of the game criticism, I reckon, was probably stuff you've heard before, you know? Maybe I'd go a bit lighter on Infinite than some people. maybe a bit harsher about the ending of Bioshock 1, you know? But yeah, who knows? Anyway, should we get into this this presentation? Are you working on the Prey retrospective? I'm not at the moment. But that isn't to say that has gone forever. That video will definitely happen at some point. That video hasn't been cancelled. I just need to save it for like when the fire's really like burning for that video. We'll get to that in a second. Let's get into the presentation. We're starting to naturally segue into talking about Bioshock. So why don't we dive into the presentation and talk Bioshock? I've just seen a super chat as well. I don't know if I have the alerts set up. I just realized I think I fucked up the alerts. Oh god. Hold on. Let's see if I can do it in time. Hopefully that worked. If that didn't work, I'm so sorry. Adam, vid was good. Here's some cash for your e-busking. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that e-busking. A Boba Fett rocks. Hey, that one came through. Awesome. Thank you for another great video. Thank you very much for the super chat. I really, really appreciate that. You don't have the sound alerts. Did the sound not come through? It definitely came up on the screen. I saw it there. Yeah, thank you guys. That's really generous of you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the video. Should we talk presentation time? Else we're going to be here all night. And I know you guys have got better things to do than sit here listening to me waffle on about absolutely nothing. I mean, come on, guys. We've all got lives here. Sound alert was very quiet. God damn. Where's sound? Oh my god. So part of the problem here is that I have started streaming on Twitch again every Wednesday. So in order to do a post video stream, I need to switch all the settings over to YouTube, do a stream here on YouTube, and then change everything back to Twitch in time for Wednesday. Well, to be honest, this is probably a good moment to say that also. If you guys want to hang out in streams more often, there is an I Finished a Video Game stream that happens every single Wednesday at around this time. Here is the link. We've done 3 streams so far, and so far it's been super fun. I've really enjoyed it. It's way more casual, it's way more like low-key, and it's like super nice. You actually get a chance to like hang out, like have a conversation back and forth. And it's been really fun. So if you're interested in seeing some more of this stuff, I guess it's not everyone's bag because it's Twitch. Like, that's fine. Yeah, there's the link. If using OBS has multiple preset profiles, so you don't have to keep logging in and out like that. I thought there might be, but I'll be honest, I started setting up this stream about 15 minutes before the notification went out into people's sub feeds. I will need to do that for next time. It's one of those things that definitely should be I should have done a while ago instead of changing everything over. Right, let's do the damn presentation because we're just going to be here forever otherwise. You guys ready? Here we are. The post-Bioshock streaming debrief where we discuss Bioshock and YouTube. I hope you're ready for another exciting, extravagant presentation experience here on YouTube. I worked really hard and I spent a long time sweating and long sleepless nights over this work. So let's see where we go from here. Oh my god, that's wrong. I need to do that. I forgot how to move on. Okay, first things first. Yes, I I'm a little under the weather at the moment. So if you've been in the Twitch streams, if you've been on the Discord, you probably know that basically I've been suffering with stomach ulcers recently, which is not very nice. And they had been getting a lot better, but unfortunately the stress of working on the Bioshock video and the long hours I was putting into editing it and finishing the script exacerbated it. And so, unfortunately, they have come back quite badly. So that's why I was drinking a nice peppermint tea to try and relax myself a bit. I feel okay right now, but it's been a bit of a difficulty. So if I sort of lean away from the camera at any point, or you hear my voice gurgling or anything like that, that is the explanation. I thought I'd get that out of the way early doors. Also, it's nice to sympathy farm when you don't feel well. So, lay the sympathy on me, guys. I'm looking for sympathy here. This is the point of this slide. So, yeah, bring it on. Anyway, how does this work? There it is. Right. Bioshock. The series retrospective. We're going to talk a little bit about this video. Quickly on the subject of medicine that you guys are suggesting. I did get prescribed some medicine, but unfortunately it gave me extremely bad migraines, so I couldn't take it, which was really frustrating because I really wanted to just take some pills that would make it go away. But hey, there we go. Ebruary. I finished video game is the best, stomach ulcers are the worst, Bioshock videos is awesome, but overstress is bad. Well, thank you very much for the super chat, man. That's really nice of you to say. And yeah, I can confirm, if you guys feel like you're getting too stressed, really need to really need to work on that and do what you can. I know it feels like sometimes, with the world being as it is, we should just push through and I'll be fine. I'll just work harder. I'll just get to the other side and everything will be okay. I'll relax later. I'll sleep when I'm dead. That kind of mentality. That will fuck you up long before you're dead. Yeah, really don't do it. I really need to chill out and start taking my health a bit more seriously. Especially after all the cancer stuff that I've been through. I feel really I had a checkup with my cancer nurses about I think it was the week before Bioshock came out, so about 3 weeks ago, and I felt really embarrassed telling them about the stomach ulcers because the subsequent checkups and stuff, they're not just about cancer care, they're also about your general health, and I felt really embarrassed that I was I've been working so hard and stressing myself out so much that I give myself stomach ulcers because they were not impressed. Why would they be? But yeah, that's serious shit. You guys, you look after yourselves. I'm going to try and look after myself better. Right. So, let's talk Bioshock. What went right? So, what I think the video did well is, I think... Oh, God. I just touched that and a thing popped up. What went right? I think the things that the video did best were the development stuff, the behind-the-scenes stuff, the stuff about Ken Levine, the stuff about Jordan Thomas, the stuff about Steve Gaynor, the stuff about the Irrational games before Bioshock. I think that's where the video was at its strongest. And I think some of the critique elements, I think personally, when I've watched it back, I think they're not as strong as those bits. Or if not as strong, I think they're not bringing as much to the table as those development bits. I think when I was editing it, I was really happy with how the final chapter turned out, talking about Ken Levine, talking about people's misconceptions about his role in the closure of Irrational and how he's sort of been a lightning rod for the blame when really the blame should really be pointed at the publisher. I'm really pleased with how that stuff turned out. And I think that is a reason to watch the video. Along with that, I think the general storytelling in the video is quite good. I think the individual kind of I guess in 4chan parlance, it gets called just recapping. But I think the recapping in the video is quite strong. I think the actual storytelling about the games and how the game's stories work is good, and I think is nice. And I think there's nice language, and I think it's got nice cadence. And I think the storytelling about the studio and the people is good too. I think that's very nice. And I'm really happy with how all that stuff turned out. What I would say about what went wrong is two massive factors went wrong. The first, as illustrated by this picture of a man whose trousers are too long, is that the video is too long. I think 5 hours is too long for YouTube these days. The reason for that is that I think that... Oh, sorry, I'm going to pause this music. It's driving me crazy for a while. Sorry, it's just going to be my voice for now. The reason is that I think that there was a moment a couple of years ago where really long videos really captured people's attention because there wasn't that many of them on the platform. And there was this kind of inherent assumed quality about them. Sort of like if someone has spent the time to make a 6-hour video, it must be good. And I think that those videos have become so common now in so many different genres that I think that is now missing. And I kind of think that like long videos are more like normal YouTube videos 10 years ago, if that makes sense. I think nowadays we look at a 1 or 2 hour long YouTube video and we see them more like old 15-minute videos. Because the reality is YouTube is being pulled in two directions. It's being pulled towards hyper short form content and longer form content. And I think 5 hours is too long for it to hit the mainstream in YouTube. That's the difference. I think 3 hours is probably a sweet spot that you can get to. Between 2 and 3 hours is probably the new sweet spot. And I think that 5 hours is... I just think it just doesn't punch through anymore. And I think it can be frustrating because the reality is I didn't make this video thinking I'm going to make a 5 hour long video. It's 5 hours because that was everything I had to say about the series. But as we'll see in a second, I think I need to maybe start being a bit smarter about that sort of thing, because things are changing on YouTube. Times, they are changing, and if you don't change with them, you will be left behind. So yeah, we'll get onto that other side of this point in a second. But the second point is that there's an old woman, and I think the video took too long to come out. And I think that was partly because, I mean, I've spoken about this before. It was partly because I originally started making a different video. I was originally working on a retrospective about Prey, and I kind of paused it because it wasn't really going the way I wanted it, and I switched to Bioshock. And then I also got ill with stomach ulcers, and I lost a couple of weeks to that. And it ended up being about 3 months after the last video. And I think that is too long to make people wait, to be honest. That's 3 Patreon payments. That's a lot of time in YouTube. And I think it took too long to come out. I think 2 months is about as far as I feel all right making people wait. So I would say those are the two major criticisms. Too long, and it took too long to come out. Which is frustrating, because really they're sort of structural YouTube-y problems. Whereas if you look over at the left-hand column, a lot of the writing stuff, I think it is really strong. I'm really happy with that. So it's like, you know, I got to kind of think about that moving forwards. Let's go to the comments, because there was 3 key subjects to address that really came up in the comments in the 2 weeks after it released. The first one is the goddamn Vita Chambers. The goddamn Vita Chambers. That came up so many times in the comments. I can't believe that I missed an audio log explaining where the Vita Chambers come from. I played through Bioshock 1 3 times the whole way through as a proper playthrough, and it probably adds up to about 5 times if you add in times I've gone in to replay, to capture footage and stuff like that. And I can't believe I missed it every single time. And I foolishly included in the script, oh, there's not even a way in the game that like they're explained what they do. And boy was I wrong. Boy was I wrong. The comments, people could not wait to tell me how wrong I was about. Now, to be fair, I'm only like joking a bit because 99% of people were like, oh, cool video, you missed this. They weren't saying it in a horrible way. But every single time one of those comments came through, I was like, a knife to my heart. I was like, I can't believe I fucked that up. So yeah, unfortunately, that's on me. I got no defense for that. Somehow that slipped through the net. I thought, honestly, when you said it isn't explained, I thought you were making a setup for a joke reveal later in the video. I know. It's because the mindset was that that was in a section where I was talking a lot about like mechanics and comparisons between System Shock 2 and Bioshock 1, and I was thinking about the mechanic very much in terms of it's like, here's how System Shock does Vita Chambers, here's how Bioshock does Vita Chambers, and making the comparisons between them. And I forgot that both games also have an in-world explanation for why they work, and that should have stuck in my head a bit more. But ho-hum, you live and you learn. Or maybe I made that mistake on purpose to drive engagement in the comments. Exactly. Empowerless just said your Vita Chamber mistake made people comment. Engagement win. Exactly. Maybe it was on purpose. Frodo Baggins, your Bioshock retrospective was yet another banger. It got me to reinstall Bioshock 2 in the hopes of finally finishing it one day. That's awesome to hear, man. I hope you enjoy that. Bioshock 2 is a weird game. It's got so many cool ideas, but actually playing it can be a real slog. But I hope you enjoy it, because the end is very cool. Final hour of that game's amazing. You just got to get through some slog to get there. Also, Morten Solberg, enjoyed your rapid fire video. More of those. Unfortunately, I don't think so. Just because that was a fun little experiment. But I think they don't like present well out to YouTube. Like, it would be better to just make short individual videos about the different subjects I'm covering in the quickfire video. It was a bit of an experiment early on in the channel. I think I've learnt how things work a bit more since then. But I appreciate the love for it. I'm not taking it down or anything. I'm leaving it up there because I want people to enjoy it. Chris, brother, I've been watching you since you had like 5 videos dropping comments at the time for the algorithm. Glad to see you continue to do awesome work. Inspiration, brother. Thank you very much, Chris. I really appreciate that. That's OG, man. What was the first video you watched? 5 videos? That must be like Prince of Persia or Mortal Shell, maybe? I think that's got to be one of those first ones. So, oh, right, yes, the presentation. So, second major thing that came up a lot in the comments, discussions about the points I was making about politics. I got to be honest, I tried to engage with the points people were making in good faith. I tried to understand where they were coming from, but I still don't get it. I honestly still don't get it. The whole slogan of like keep politics out of video games still makes no sense to me, because pretty much most of the conversations boil down to what they mean by politics is they mean woke. And I don't give a shit about any of that discussion at all. I couldn't care less about any of that debate. And so the point is basically, if you mean that, say that rather than politics. I personally think the reason they're not saying that and they're saying politics is it makes the message like way more palatable to people on social media. Like if you say video games should be about escapism, that sounds bland and that sounds inoffensive. Whereas if you say I think all video games should have anything that I think is woke taken out of them, that's more of a moronic opinion. So it's like it was very hard because I tried to engage with people seriously on this subject, tried to really understand where they were coming from. Nobody really had a clear point of view on it. I feel like the points I made in the video stand. Like video games, politics, great in video games. Like If you want to talk about bad writing, now that's something else. You know, badly written political video games suck, but that's because they're bad games. It's not because of political elements to it. It's because they're just bad. You know, games that have romance in, where the romance is badly written, they're bad as well. It's not because romance doesn't work. Maybe some people might say it was foolish to engage with them. I always try and like talk to people. I always try to like see their opinion, see where they're coming from. I'm definitely not of the opinion that like people are like evil. I think that like normal people think they're good people, and if someone has like an opinion that you find like weird or you don't understand, like it's always better to try and talk to them and try to figure out where they're coming from, because there might be a miscommunication that's causing that. But I'll be honest, with this one, I just didn't get it. I just don't get what the point is, to be honest. I don't think video games should be just about escapism. I don't think video games shouldn't have politics in them. I think politics can be super interesting in video games. The issue is really one of writing quality. You know, people don't want badly written games, but I don't want badly written games either. So it's just baffling, really. There was a super chat as well by Sophia. Hey, awesome. You're a positive force in a currently bleak world. Many people deeply appreciate what you're doing. Stay well. Thank you so much. That really means a lot to me. And I hope you're doing well. We'll need to catch up at some point. But yeah, thank you so much for popping in and for your generosity. That's really awesome. I really appreciate it. Not a gotcha question. Matt, do you think all art is inherently political? I'm rather wishy-washy on the subject. No, I don't think all art is inherently political. I can see how someone could have the interpretation that all art is inherently political, because obviously you can take the opinion that politics touches every single area of life and every single part of what makes someone a person. And if art is an expression of who a person is, then politics will have influenced them, ergo their art is political. I think that's quite broad, to be honest. Like, I think that you can engage with art without having to go down that path. You know, I think that if you watch, what's a good example of something I would say fits the bill? Like Before Sunset, the movie. That's just a movie about like teenage like love and about you know, going with the flow and about being young and about like following your heart and like acting impulsively. I don't think there's any real politics to that. You could say, oh, it is political because like here's Richard Linklater's political opinions and they influence this, that, and that, and that. You definitely can take that opinion, but I don't think that was the intention behind that art. And I think there's tons of art where there isn't a political intention behind it. Yeah, I don't know. I think that I can see why people think that, but do you mean Before Sunrise? Yes, sorry, I mean Before Sunrise. I always get the films mixed up, but I mean Before Sunrise. Yeah, so it's a tricky one, and it's tough too because I also think there's tons of video games that are really like deal with politics in a really cool way, in a really unique way, and I think like throwing those away throws away some of the coolest games that have ever been made. Like if you want to get rid of Metal Gear, like, or Disco Elysium, like these are awesome. Like, and they do really cool things. Like, I don't know. It's silly because I'm kind of saying I kind of in one breath saying, oh I want my Discord to be like, and no politics in it whatsoever. But I'm also saying like video games should be able to be political. But I think it kind of just boils down to like, I think just the modern political landscape is just super combative. And I think that sometimes giving yourself a break from that is healthy. I'm not saying that those issues don't matter. I'm not saying you shouldn't be fired up about things. I'm not saying that you shouldn't care about things or that there aren't things that are super important. But I also think it's like mentally healthy to be able to have a break from those emotions. I think it makes you a better person, a more calm person. Anyway, that's enough about politics. No more fucking politics for the rest of the stream. Although saying that, the next point is about AI. Somehow, some people seem to misunderstand that in the sponsorship for the video, I am making fun of AI. Essentially, when I was doing the ad read for the sponsorship, I put in a sarcastic line that you can ask ChatGPT what the best Bioshock game is, and it will tell you that there was a made-up survey where 48% people responded saying that Bioshock 1 is their favorite game. This survey obviously does not exist. It is obviously just some AI nonsense, and I say it sarcastically in the ad read, and I sent that over to the sponsors, thinking that they would tell me to take that out, and they didn't. And I thought that was funny, and I left that in the video. And then people were messaging me saying, I can't believe you were advertising AI. And I was like, my guys, I'm criticizing it. I'm being sarcastic. And that really bothered me. It wasn't that many people that commented it, to be fair, but I just wanted to make that position completely clear. Completely clear. I was not advertising AI. I was making fun of it. So please, no misconstruing my opinion. I do not support generative AI. I think it's fucking slop. But please, I don't know if it was maybe like a sort of, it was too deadpan, it was too dry. Maybe it doesn't, maybe there's like a language barrier thing or something like that. I don't know what it was, but yeah, I was blown away that there were some people who thought I was being serious with that. And I'm going to try to be less less deadpan with stuff I do in the future, or less subtle. I think the channel, I often say the channel's not really like very funny and stuff, but like I'm gonna try not to even sneak in stuff that makes me amused. There was an interesting super chat actually from Right. The discussion about no politics gets misconstrued. In my opinion, bad politics in games is the developers trying to enforce a viewpoint without examination. Keep up the great works. Cheers. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I agree with the point you're making. I wouldn't call that bad politics. I would call that bad writing. I would say that sort of shoehorning in themes and concepts into your story without examining them is inherently bad writing. And I would say that's the problem at its core. Like, those same people who are writing that story that is being labeled bad politics, if they wrote a non-political story, it's still going to be bad because they're bad writers. And I think that's the core problem. Yeah, that's what I would say. Yeah, sorry, a lot of people in the chat agreeing about sarcasm being lost on non-British people. Maybe that's true. I don't know. Is that true? Surely, I've never sort of understood that. There's sarcasm in other countries, isn't there? That's not something that's like uniquely British. I don't think, is it? Other countries have sarcasm. I feel like maybe being self-deprecating is quite like a British thing. Like, we make fun of ourselves quite a lot. It's a country where you're not really allowed to be like to like brag or boast, or being arrogant is like the mortal sin here in the UK. So you really have to be careful about that. But I'm not sure if sarcasm I would necessarily say. Surely there's sarcasm. I've heard sarcastic Dutch people and sarcastic Germans. They have a perfect accent for it as well. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. We lose our ability to be sarcastic the second we step off our stupid island. That's what I mean. It can't be uniquely British. I think British people say it, but I don't think that's true. I'm from the American Midwest. We're known for our sarcasm. That doesn't always track in other parts of the country. Yeah, maybe it's not. See, someone said also, Chris, you even said all jokes aside. That's literally spelling out the sarcasm for everyone. Exactly. I couldn't believe it. But whatever. Whatever. I guess that's on me for trying to sneak things into the script to stop myself going crazy while I was away working on it. Right. Next slide. So, the grand conclusion of all of this chatter is a conversation about how the video did, and unfortunately, the video has done sort of meh, I would say. It's not done good. It's also not done bad. It's done quite average for a video of mine. The problem with that is it's one of my longer videos and it took quite a long time to produce. And unfortunately, that means the rest of the presentation is going to be coloured by a bit of the discussion here about what do you do when you spend 3 months working on something that doesn't really do that does okay, it doesn't really do super good. So we've had a lot of laughs. We've had some goofs and some hijinks so far. The rest of the presentation might get a little bit more. What's the right word? Dour. So you guys in the chat probably will need to keep up the good humor. You know, keep the jokes pumping so we don't get too depressed. Now, unfortunately, one of the annoying things about something that's depressing the video is that, as you can see on the right there, it says a shorter average view duration than normal. On average, viewers watch this video for 52 minutes 47. That's 2 minutes less than usual. Now, anyone who does YouTube videos here will know that average view duration is one of the king metrics for YouTube deciding whether your video is doing well or doing badly. Now, I think, and this is unproven, but this is just a theory of mine, I think I have sort of fucked myself over a little bit because the average view duration on my videos is monstrously long. 52 minutes is an enormously long average view duration for any video on YouTube. But the problem is, because my average view durations are so long anyway, YouTube looks at Bioshock and thinks, oh, this video, people are watching this video less than normal, they must be enjoying it less. But it's still 52 minutes. So I think that is slightly annoying, a slightly annoying factor. So yeah, it's especially as something else that's changed on YouTube is the sort of second wind doesn't really happen anymore. The video's launch is pretty much the most important part of its life now, whereas 3 or 4 years ago you could release quite a long video and you could 6 months down the line it might start getting some views, people might start noticing it. Unfortunately, because of what we spoke about earlier, in that long videos are quite a lot more popular, that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. The launch is very, very important. I've spoken about this with quite a few of my YouTuber buddies, and yeah, it seems like the second wind kind of doesn't happen much these days. So it's an interesting question there. How much of this performance do you attribute to length compared to general interest in Bioshock? Could be either or both. So in terms of length, as I said earlier, I think 5 hours is too long, and I think that stops the video being watched by more casual audiences, which is probably explains some of this. I think if the video was 3 hours long, I think most of the numbers would generally be a lot higher. I think this is like a super good video for people who are hardcore into video games, hardcore into video game history, video game critique, and are really into, like, you know, my kind of videos. You know the channels that make videos like mine. The people that are really into that sort of stuff will be really into this video. I don't think it has much potential to punch outside of that because of its length. Now, on the subject of Bioshock, I actually think the Bioshock subject is a pretty good one for YouTube. Like, it's quite a popular series. It's got quite, like, it's quite well known. There's a lot to talk about. I think that Bioshock has a lot of potential, but it's hard to know because I've done videos on stuff that has like no coverage whatsoever and it gets tons of coverage. I've done videos on stuff that's super popular and it gets no coverage. So it's a tricky balance to strike. How do you make an in-depth Bioshock retrospective without it being that long? Well, that's exactly why it ended up being 5 hours. I think that maybe it was probably the bigger problem is taking 3 months to do it, I think is probably the bigger problem. Would it have been more successful if you'd released it in 3 parts or something? Possibly. The only problem is I really don't like the idea of splitting up my videos into loads of parts. I think it kind of goes against the spirit of the channel. I like that you get everything in one place and you can control how much of it you watch at one time. You can watch it all in one sitting. You can watch, you can watch it in chunks. I chop it up into chapters. I kind of feel like it's the channel's identity. I might be tempted to cover a really big series in terms of like eras in the future. You know, I've often thought about doing Silent Hill or Resident Evil in terms of their eras. I think that could work naturally, but for something like Bioshock, I think chopping out to 3 videos would be a bit Blair. Be a bit Blair. Anyway, so that's that. So now, all that being said, there is some funky shit going on with YouTube at the moment, which could be the explanation for everything behind what's going on. YouTube is doing some weird fucking stuff at the moment, some weird changes, and I don't know why or what is happening and who is asking for any of them. So to give you an example, here on the left is a sort by drop-down tab in the comments. Now, previously, when you went onto your comments, you would just see the latest comments. They were just there. With no announcement whatsoever, YouTube had changed this, so now an AI sorts your comments into most relevant, which is the default setting, and hides all the comments that it doesn't deem to be relevant. Who asked for this? Nobody asked for this. And it means that over the past week, I have been... over the past, not week, 3 or 4 days, I've been missing comments on the channel because YouTube is just not showing them to people. And it's just so strange. Who asked for this change? I do not understand it. Luckily, I managed to spot it on Twitter, and I can change it now. But it defaults to most relevant every single time, so you have to change this each time. It's just baffling. So that gives you an insight into how the platform can make changes that nobody asks for, that don't seem to improve the experience for either creators or viewers. Because if you leave a comment on a video now, there's no guarantee that the creator will see the comment, because if the AI deems it to be not relevant, they don't see it. It's absolutely baffling. So the only way to change it, Resident Eccentric, is the creator needs to go into their studio app and they need to change the sorting of their comments from most relevant, which is the default, to newest. It's so annoying. Why make that change? The people that cared about comments would be going in there, would be sorting them themselves, responding to their comments, and the people that don't care about their comments aren't going to look anyway. So what's the point of this? Very frustrating, but that kind of gives you an insight into how changes are made on the platform. Now, that's a relatively small issue. That's a nitpick. The far bigger issue is what on earth is happening with view numbers on YouTube at the moment. As you can see, Second Wind, pretty large channel with very famous people. That's the channel that Yahtzee is part of and operates and publishes his videos from. They published a pretty big video. YouTube is crushing our viewership. Because channels with consistent views that have a consistent series that does well are just seeing big drops in viewership, and nobody is seeing an explanation that makes any sense. So the closest I think we've come is that last night Joshua Strife Hayes, who you guys might know, pretty big streamer, pretty big YouTuber as well, to be totally honest, big in both spaces, discovered that his videos were being hidden under if restricted mode is put on. Now, for those of you who don't know what restricted mode is, restricted mode traditionally has been something that schools and libraries can turn on, which hides mature content, hides inappropriate content on the platform. That's the idea of it. This was first implemented in 2010. So long before the adpocalypse, before YouTube Kids was even a thing, this was how you did content control on YouTube. The problem is that since then, we've had all these different content systems and content control systems added into the platform. We've got YouTube Kids. We've had far more control over ads and what ads go on what videos. YouTube has a whole checking system where they check videos and decide whether they should be monetized or not monetized. And the problem is, this doesn't line up with what is on restricted mode. So, as you can see, My channel, if you turn restricted mode on, only has 7 videos on it, and nothing that I've released for the past 19 months appears on the channel, despite the fact that all of the videos are unrestricted as per YouTube's own checking system. It is absolutely baffling. So you need to go and check. The reality is most of the people in this chat probably won't have restricted mode turned on, because I think that this is coming from YouTube's. If we click quickly over onto this one, where is it? Well, actually, there's a. How do I go back? There's evidence that none of my videos are restricted. This is my videos going back 2 years, no restrictions whatsoever. So, as you can see up there, my videos are filtered through restricted mode. How do I stop this filtering from happening? If you edit the video, our system may review it again. So YouTube is saying, what is deciding whether a video is being shown? This is from YouTube, their own website. They are saying that the reason a video shows or doesn't show in restricted mode is whether it goes through the checking system, whether it gets reviewed by YouTube. But as you can see, videos that have gone through the check that aren't restricted don't show up. It's absolutely baffling. Now, whether that is impacting the videos in any meaningful sense is hard to actually understand. What we do know is the checking system, the restricted system, is like clearly bodged. Something clearly doesn't work there. Something clearly doesn't line up there. But whether that's accounting for the views, the view depression, much harder to know. Apart from this. So in July of last year, YouTube announced that because of changes to the law happening in the UK that are coming in the EU, that are being discussed in American Congress, they would be implementing an auto AI age detection system. That basically, as you can see under this snip that I took from their website, where it says, here's how it works. It says, we will use AI to interpret a variety of signals that help us determine whether a user is over or under 18. These signals include types of videos a user is searching for, categories of videos they have watched, or the longevity of the account. Blah, 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 blah. Now, when they automatically apply age-appropriate experiences and protections, it includes turning on digital well-being tools and disabling personalized advertising, which are what restricted mode is. I think that when they turned on this AI auto age detection thing, it has turned on restricted mode automatically, or a version of restricted mode automatically, for a bunch of people that it thinks are teenagers or young adults on the platform. I think that is one theory as to what could be happening, what could be affecting them. People in the video game space, video games, they have appeal into younger audiences. Younger people look for video games. If the algorithm has decided that looking at videos about younger games is some sort of signifier that you could be under 18, that could make you a target for turning on restricted mode and thus not being able to see videos. Now, the problem is YouTube's response to all this, as you can see on the right here, is absolutely nonsensical. They replied to my tweet about it and they said, we understand how important this is. Few things. Restricted mode is off by default, totally optional. Most don't use it. It's been around since 2010. It's not new. If your videos aren't available in restricted mode and you believe they should be, and then, if you can believe it, they sent me a form to fill out to get my videos available in restricted mode, despite the fact that they aren't restricted and they've already been through YouTube's checking system. What? So, not only does this not really make any sense because they're sending a form for me to fill out via Twitter for me to get my videos on YouTube, which aren't restricted, unrestricted. Not only does that process not make any sense, but the argument that it's been around since 2010 makes absolutely no sense to me. There is no way that restricted mode in its current form is the same as it was when it was originally launched in 2010. That is just an absolute nonsense. That's before the adpocalypse. That's before YouTube Kids. That's back in the era of 10-minute YouTube videos. That's back before automatic copyright strikes. The idea that somehow this system, because it's been around from 2010, is just it is immune from criticism, couldn't possibly have anything going wrong with it. I find that so hard to believe. And the problem is that because of how YouTube operates and because of the poor communication with creators, because of how there's no way to speak to anyone, there's no way to get any of this stuff cleared up, people just don't trust what they say. You know, they say that when videos get demonetized, it doesn't affect their outreach. Everyone knows that's not true. Everybody knows that's not true. If you get a video with red monetization on it, that is not going to be recommended to anyone. And yet YouTube says it still will be. So the fact that people don't trust what they say about their own system means it's very hard to take their explanations here seriously. And it's very, very frustrating. Very frustrating. I hope you can tell from my demeanor here that it's very, very frustrating. Because, you know, we make our livelihoods on here. And it's not just a livelihood, you know. It's not just a job. Like, this is a dream job. This is the stuff that people work their whole lives to try and get. People give up a lot to do this. You know, I was talking about getting stomach ulcers from like pushing myself to get these videos done. And to feel like the platform isn't on your side and is making changes that hurt you without consulting you at all, without ever giving you any insight into why these changes are being made, how they might impact you is tough. Now, to make matters worse, the channels that aren't impacted by this are AI slop factories. You know, what does a 40% decrease in traffic mean if you can churn out an AI short every single day? So the net result of this is that you will see content like mine on YouTube less often, and you will see AI slop more often, because YouTube is literally incentivizing people to put less effort into their work and is incentivizing slop AI factories that can just churn out stuff and it doesn't matter what happens to them. If the channel gets demonetized, just make another one, keep pumping out the videos. They're fine with this. It doesn't impact them in the slightest. For people like me that spend months working on videos and could find themselves in a really difficult financial situation off the back of it, it's the direction we're heading in is tough. It's tough. One of the big problems as well is that because this impacts views, it impacts sponsorships. So you might not know this, but most sponsorships are done based on how many views a video will get. Now, if views are being depressed, that means sponsors pay out less money, which means you can't just go, okay, well, I'm not getting many views on YouTube. I'll augment that with sponsorships, which is obviously horrible, which obviously nobody wants to do. It looks really rubbish for the channel. Everybody hates ad reads. I hate doing them, but sometimes you've got to do it to keep the lights on and to keep money coming in, you know? But if views are being depressed, sponsors don't want to pay out any money. So it hurts human creators even more because, again, AI creators, AI short factories, reposted content factories, doesn't matter. They're not taking sponsorships anyway. So it's very, very frustrating because it signals a direction of travel for YouTube where, call me a doomer, call me, you know, negative Nancy about this, but it definitely feels like they are beginning to care less and less about curated human content and more about as much content as they can possibly get, which is inevitably just AI content. I think they got completely spooked by the rise of TikTok. I think that caught them completely off guard. I think they thought they had a monopoly on online video content, and I think TikTok completely caught them off guard. And I think they had no idea how to respond to short form content. They had no experience in short form content. It's why YouTube Shorts were as artificially pushed as they were. I don't know if anybody remembers when YouTube Shorts were launched, but they were absolutely pushed like crazy. And it was obviously artificial by YouTube to try and get people to engage with YouTube Shorts so they could compete with TikTok. And the reality is that they care about stuff that impacts their share price, and they care about the appearance of the brand, and they care about competition with other tech companies, and they don't really care about the quality of the content on the platform. And it's very, very difficult when you make content on the platform. So this brings us on to, what the fuck do we do? How the fuck do we stay alive when this is the environment? How do we keep how do you keep a channel like mine going when views are being depressed, when sponsorship rates are being depressed, when it doesn't look like YouTube cares, when every decision they are making is to compete in an area which is the antithesis of what your channel does? How the hell do you stay in business? And at the moment there is one answer, and it is Patreon, basically. So you'll have to excuse me for doing this, but I think you'll have probably seen lots of creators that you like saying similar things. That if you want to keep seeing content like mine on the internet, we got to get real about how important Patreon is, because it seems to be the only way that people can, get fair pay for the work they put into their videos. And I know, obviously, I talk about the Patreon quite a lot, but I think that the reality is it's not escapable anymore. Like, I have to do this if I want to keep making videos in the long term, like over the next 2-3 years. Like, Patreon is the reason I'll be able to do that. So I need to keep talking about it in all of the videos. I need to keep talking about it in these streams. And I need to keep basically advertising it. And it's kind of horrible because I don't really like doing that. I don't really like because it's basically like asking for money. And that feels really grubby and horrible. And I never did that on YouTube in the beginning. Like, I don't know, for the people who've been here from the start, I actually didn't make a Patreon for ages because I felt really bad asking for people's money. I don't think I had one until it was at least a year into doing it, or it could have even been a year and a half. I can't quite remember. But the reality is, with the changes that YouTube are making, this is the only way forward, because you can't rely on views, you can't rely on sponsors. So yeah. I mean, Thomas Stone has put it perfectly. One of the effects is that now essentially the YouTube channel is an advertisement for the Patreon, which encourages paywalling more content. Exactly, which I don't want to do. So let me explain how it works. So the way the Patreon works is that obviously by subscribing to the Patreon, you're supporting I Finish a Video Game. But also for each video, well, it's not quite each video, but for most of the videos that are uploaded onto YouTube, there is a smaller exclusive video on Patreon. So there's 3 of them on screen now. The Licensed Games That Should Not Be, The Descent into Arx Fatalis, and The Free Radical History of Haze. So they're 3 videos. Each one's about 40 minutes long, 45 minutes long. They're not a full retrospective. They're not a 2, 3, 4, 5 hour retrospective. They don't have quite the same level of, I don't spend like months making them. There's never been a point where I'm making one of these instead of making something for YouTube. So they are definitely secondary to the main content on YouTube. But they are exclusive to Patreon, and they will always be exclusive to Patreon, because I feel like I want people to feel like it's a good deal. I feel like if you do decide to back the channel on Patreon, and you do decide to like hand over your hard-earned money to help keep my thing going, I feel like I want it to be a good deal. Is the YouTube membership thing a viable option? No, it's not, because YouTube take a much bigger cut than Patreon do. Patreon are way more generous with it than YouTube. Also, YouTube, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but they've started, you can no longer hide members-only videos on your channel. So if I were to have exclusive videos on my page, they would clutter up the page with paywalled content. With them being on Patreon, they're literally on a different website. So, it's sort of like you don't know what you're missing. If you don't want to back it, they're not in your face. But the real problem is that YouTube doesn't prevent paywalled content from going into the algorithm. So I don't know if anyone's seen it recently, but you will see members-only videos recommended to you on your recommended tab. And, Chris Walker, thank you very much. The super chat saying never stop. I mean, that's what all this is about. This is about creating a environment where I don't have to stop, where I can keep making videos. Yeah, it's tough, and Patreon is going to be like the main thing. So if you do if you do like the videos, and if you do like long form content like this, and you like what I do, and you like me, I guess, if you can back the channel on Patreon, that would be amazing. Obviously, if you can't, like, no hard feelings. Like, I know it's not for everyone. Not everyone likes the platform, and obviously it is asking for money, and people can do with their own money whatever the hell they wanted, whatever the hell they want. But if you can, it would be amazing, and it makes a massive difference keeping the channel going. I should really link the Patreon now. Let me quickly do that. So that this isn't just me talking into nothing. But there's the link to the Patreon. If you can if you can back the channel on there, that would be amazing. You have my eternal gratitude. But if you can't, no worries. But you might want to, because actually I've just realized what the next slide is. Come on. It's the next Patreon exclusive video, which I wanted to launch, which is actually launching in 15 minutes. It is Chrono Trigger, an unfinished retrospective, which is going live on Patreon in 15 minutes. The idea behind it is that basically 2 years ago, I was working on a Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross video, and I abandoned it partway through. So this is a video kind of exploring why I abandoned it, what went wrong, and then it is the video, or at least what exists of the video, which essentially is it's about half an hour. It's an investigation into the development of Chrono Trigger. So it has a similar kind of atmosphere to the development sections of the Bioshock video, which is why I thought this was a nice pairing. Usually the idea is that the Patreon exclusive videos are paired in some way to the latest video that's come out on the channel. So the idea here is it's misconceptions about development. So Chrono Trigger, famously made by the Dream Team, a coming together of Enix and Squaresoft, made by Yuji Horii, Hironobu Sakaguchi, Akira Toriyama. It's very, very famous. Except, was it? Is that true? Are those things true? Did those men truly make Chrono Trigger what it is? Or are there other people that have been forgotten by time, whose contributions have been forgotten? And that's really what this video is about. Yeah. It is what it is. I hope people enjoy it. I hope people find it to be an interesting watch. Yeah, like I said, if you subscribe on Patreon, you can watch it in about 15 minutes time, which is pretty cool. And I think that takes us to the end of the presentation. So I think that so the programmer's ending is a lie. It is more of a lie than you would think. And I do talk about it in the video, how the program ending is kind of bullshit. It's kind of bullshit. And there is some really bullshit elements to it. Yeah, I'll leave that for the video. If you want to watch it, it's in there. But yeah, I think that we should really try and pick up the mood, because that was super depressing. And I feel like I tricked you guys into coming here with being all fun and happy for the first half of the stream, and then I kind of was a super buzzkill, super depressing, talking about how YouTube is killing people like me and begging for your money, which is kind of lame. So I feel like we should pivot into something slightly more fun now. We should talk about something slightly interesting. You should tell chat about Ayn Rand's hobby. That is still unverified. I'm not gonna. Those sorts of chats I can put out there on Twitch. Sorry, on Twitch, absolutely fine. Anything goes. Over here on YouTube, where we have to be professional. I feel bad for not supporting the creators I watch, but after doing the math, I'd have to set aside so much money being cut from the platform payment processor. It's neither in my budget nor really helping them. World Copper Badge, I don't feel too bad about it, because it's one of these things where it's not expected, but you know, it really helps if you can. Maybe just pick the one creator that you like most of all. Maybe pick the person that's made your favorite video, sub to their Patreon for a month, then unsubscribe. That still helps. That sort of thing. That's what I do. I like to cycle mine. I have about 3 or 4 patrons that I have active at any one time, and I cycle them through different creators I like. And in fact, this has reminded me that I need to cycle them. Fellow Pod, I've noticed that people seem fatigued from the giant 250-hour game worlds that companies want us to like. I'd love a revival of more curated, open-ended games, Metroidvanias, etc. I think, my friend, Fellow Pod, also thank you very much for the super chat. I really appreciate your generosity. That's awesome. I think we might be on the cusp of that happening. I think that could be happening. If you think about it, we were talking earlier about Game of the Year. We were talking about Silksong and Claire Obscure. You know, I think they could pave the way for a return to more curated, more linear experiences, namely because they're so much cheaper to produce. You know, if you're a publisher, if you're a developer, and you're trying to make some games, making a 250 hour long open world game is fucking time consuming and expensive. But you know what's not? A linear, purposeful game that only has to sell 500,000 to 1 million copies to make money. I think we could potentially be on the cusp of a return to that. I certainly hope so anyway. And it'll be definitely interesting to see what happens in the aftermath of the Game Awards and stuff. Because I feel like that's when people start to really notice this stuff. You know, it wasn't until the Game Awards season last year that people started to really, you know, notice the games that were being nominated. So we'll see. You know, which is interesting to say, because I think a lot of people are still quite negative about the Game Awards. I kind of think their influence is underappreciated now. I think it's becoming quite an important thing. We'll have to see over the next few years. There was another super chat as well from Silver Streams. How could YouTube comply with the law your government passed besides AI review? A manual review of 500 hours of content every minute is impossible. You'd be in a worse spot if the UK bans YouTube for non-compliance. I mean, good point. Personally, I don't support that law that my government passed. I wrote to my MP. I signed a petition about it. I think that law is poorly thought out bullshit by politicians who don't know what they're talking about, to be totally honest. I agree that it could potentially be forcing YouTube's hand to making bad decisions. That doesn't exonerate YouTube, though. YouTube could communicate with us so much better. They could be so much more clear about the impact of decisions they take with the algorithm, with their studio app, with how they recommend videos. They could be so much better at communicating that stuff with us, and it would make our lives so much easier. But I agree that governments are forcing this issue in a way that doesn't help. It doesn't protect kids, for example. That's the argument in my country, that these restrictive laws need to be put on the internet to protect kids. Well, as someone who has grown up with the internet, I don't see how this is achieving that. But c'est la vie. At least we can vote out politicians. We can't vote out the CEO at YouTube. But we'll have to see. But thank you for the super chat all the same, and I appreciate the point. It is a well-made point, but I think my points still stand even with it, if that makes sense. There was an interesting question earlier on that I think I skipped over that might make lighten the mood. Where was it? I've been talking for ages and I think I've missed it. Where was it? Oh, I'm so sorry. I think I might have missed it. I'm so sorry if I have missed your messages in chat. It's been quite a popping chat, as the kids say. So it's hard to keep up with it. Do you have a favorite video game essayist? That's a good question. I would say that historically, I really enjoyed Noah Caldwell Gervais's work. I don't want my work to be anything like his, but I think he's a really captivating writer, and I really enjoyed him. But my favorite essayist at the moment, I've said it before, seems lame to say it, but it's got to be Magula, right? Like, it's got to be Magila. He's everyone's favorite video game essayist, isn't he? Like, everyone in the chat loves the guy. He makes amazing videos. You know, I every time I watch one of his videos, I'm sort of caught up in a mixture of like feeling amazed that he's so good at writing about video games and so good at getting his like personality across in his videos, and I just feel depressed that my videos are nowhere near as good as his. But I mean that as like a joke. Like, he's an awesome dude as well. But I'd say he's probably my favorite video game essayist at the moment. I would say, you know, he's a great guy. I've seen a lot of stuff in the chat for Never Knows Best as well. I've liked a couple of Never Knows Best videos. I think we have quite like a similar outlook on video games. I think I'm not as familiar with his work. I think the last one I watched was his Emil Pagliarillo one. The video about the Bethesda guys. And I was a bit like, "Ooh, this is like brave of him to make." Yeah, I need to watch more of his videos. I've not watched loads of them. I saw someone in the chat mention Grimbeard as well, who's also awesome. Also got like a really cool aesthetic, really cool like thing going on. He has a great channel going. In fact, his is one that I'm pretty sure is like should just be like way bigger. Like, how's he not like a massive YouTuber? He has this cool like thing going on in his bedroom with his little skit things that don't feel like cringe like old YouTube, you know. I'm trying to think of some older YouTubers that I found like really inspirational, you know. I'm trying to think of like the original ones. I would say that like oh, that's a good point. I should probably give a shout out to two people who so the first would be Salt Factory. Because Salt Factory is an awesome guy, and he was so like kind to me while I was going through all my cancer stuff, and he actually shouted out my channel in like one of his videos, and I still get people to this day coming into the channel, coming into the comments saying, "Oh, I found you through Salt Factory," which is like crazy. Like, he didn't have to do that. I didn't ask for him to do that. He didn't have to, and it's so awesome of him that he did that. And he's just a really nice guy. So I got to give a mention to him. Like, and also Strategy as well. He was, we like first connected like really really early on when I was on YouTube, and we did like a podcast about like Metroidvanias together. I haven't thought about this in ages. I can't remember where it went. I think he uploaded it on his channel. Or was it on his channel? It might have been on like a second channel. It was like a podcast about Metroidvanias, and it was really fun to do. But we never did another one. But yeah, it was a good time. Matt, question. I'm trying to make a video essay of my own talking about old forgotten cartoon, what I learned by talking to people involved in its production. Advice for new video essayists. That's an interesting question. I would say that's a tough question. You should basically I guess people do it in different ways. I guess I can only really answer how I do them. And I have a combination of, I have a rough idea of what I want to be saying, and then I start writing it, and through a process of redrafting a load of times, I hone down on the individual things that I want to say, individual points I want to make, individual stories I want to highlight, individual threads in the overall plot point that I'm trying to make. So with Bioshock, you could say that it was, I wanted to talk about Ken Levine's contribution to Bioshock and myths and what is the truth about who made Bioshock. Yeah, So you kind of have to balance those two, but it's tough because you kind of find your own voice as a writer. I would just advise you the best thing you can do is just write, like practice writing. Like that will make you a better writer. That's essentially the only thing you can do. Because when I first started writing, I sucked at writing, and some of my early videos are super incoherent. But you just keep going and you keep practicing and you keep writing and you find your voice and you start writing better videos. So that's the main thing I would say. I just saw someone said, a growed. I hope I've sent some people to you over the years. I shouted you out in my 2 most viewed videos. I'm quite small fry though. Well, thank you very much, man. I really appreciate that. Don't worry. I didn't miss that you said that, and I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. I'll need to check those out. And also there was a super chat from Empowerless. Deus Ex retrospective anytime soon. Maybe. It's difficult because I think it suffers from a lot of the same. It would suffer from a lot of the same problems that Bioshock suffers with, in that it's been covered a lot. Like there's a lot of videos on YouTube about Deus Ex, so I would need to find like a fresh perspective. And I think historically my fresh perspective has been I'll cover them all in one video, but I'm not sure that would necessarily work now. So yeah, it's tricky. I would like to, because I love Deus Ex, and I think especially some games, like everybody loves like shitting on Human Revolution now. I love Human Revolution. Like, okay, it's not as complex as Deus Ex 1. Who the fuck cares? It's still a fun game. Like, sometimes I feel like we've been through like an age of criticizing games where we've like over criticized games that are still actually good, and like we've convinced ourselves that games that are like games that are still like perfectly playable and have interesting ideas are actually shit just because they're not as good as other games. Like to me that's like a crazy way to look at games. Like, you know, if you'd never played a game before and you played Deus Ex Human Revolution, you'd have a fucking amazing time, you know. There was a super chat from Monty Zander as well. Thank you so much, Monty. That's really kind of you, and big shout outs to Monty as well, because he's a cool guy, and I haven't caught up with you in ages, Monty. I need to send you a message, and we need to catch up. I hope you're doing good, and I hope life is treating you well. I want to say, I don't know if this is like really old Monty Zander lore, but I want to say that you had a baby recently. I really hope that's true, and I'm not just like completely outing myself as a fraud, but I think that's true. And yeah, if that is true, I hope it's all going really well. I hope the baby's happy and healthy, and you're enjoying fatherhood. I hope that was like public knowledge. I didn't just out you as a father, and that wasn't like secret. Hopefully that wasn't like I just actually sort of like semi-doxing him, like. I hope that was like that was okay to say. I'm really sorry if it wasn't. Luckily, you know, it's just my chat. They'll be cool. You know, they're not gonna go wild on that. I've missed a bunch of messages. I'm really sorry. How long do you typically record a paragraph you have written before needing to do an edit? Are you able to get through your lines regularly without stumbles? No, I stumble all the fucking time. If it wasn't for editing audio, my videos would be unlistenable without that. And I generally don't record until I'm happy with the paragraph that I've got. So yeah, I do most of my drafting and rehearsing, I guess you would call it, before I go to record. And I record something that's like basically done, and then try and deliver it well, and then you have to go through and edit out all the crappy mistakes you made while you were reading your script. But that's what I do. Do you think retrospectives for franchises that start post 2000s do worse than ones for older franchises? That's an interesting question. I don't know. I guess, so I'm thinking about my videos that have done the best. Parasite Eve is pre-2000. Indiana Jones is pre and post 2000. Lord of the Rings is pre and post 2000. Vagrant Story kind of on the line, but it feels like it's pre 2000. What else? Dino Crisis, that's pre 2000. I'm trying to remember what videos I've even made. I don't know. I don't think there is a distinction, to be honest. I think sometimes nostalgia can play into it, but I think people are of an age where they're playing video games that there is nostalgia for a lot of stuff. I think modern games do probably is something to saying modern games do worse. There probably is something to saying that. But then you can't go too far back with the nostalgia. Like if you stick to 70s video games, you're probably not going to get much interest in your work. Which always makes me nervous when I start a video that's going to start in the 70s with Atari. I'm always a bit nervous because I'm like, oh, people are going to click on it and they're going to see all the Atari footage and they're going to just be like completely like they're not going to give a shit about it. They're going to click off. Question: do you have a Switch 2? If you do, have you played Donkey Kong Bonanza? Yes, I have a Switch 2. I haven't played Donkey Kong Bonanza yet. Me and Steph are going away in 2 weeks' time, and I am going to probably get it for when we go away. And I'm going to treat myself to a week without thinking about YouTube, without thinking about work, and I'm just going to get myself immersed in some Donkey Kong smashing goodness. Yeah. That's probably what I'm going to do with Donkey Kong Bonanza. I have enjoyed my Switch 2 quite a lot, but I had stopped playing Switch games for a good couple of years before the console came out. So I think that that makes the Switch 2 much better. I did the same with the PS5. So by the time the next generation console comes out, even though there's like no new games for it, there's like a ton of games for you to play because you've missed out on them. That's a good strategy. Decao? I'm so sorry. Decao. I think I just said that right. Thank you so much for the super chat. I'm a bit late to the chat. Way too many discussion points to comment on. But who do you think is currently the most influential developer in the industry, for better or for worse? I think the most influential developer in the industry right now... Right now, as in this year or in recent times? Very interesting question. That's a very, very good, interesting question. Thank you very much for it. I think that the temptation is probably to say like FromSoft, but I don't think that's true. I think probably the most influential developer is probably someone like Epic for like Fortnite. I would say probably. Although I've just seen in the chat someone bring up their engine work, which is very true also because the Unreal Engine is such a particular beast that has its fingers in so many different parts of the industry. But I would say, stuff like Fortnite has really changed the industry. It's really flipped it from being single player focused to multiplayer focused to being live service focused to being microtransaction focused, battle pass focused. I would say that is probably the biggest influence on the industry. You could maybe say that like King as well for Candy Crush Saga. That is like huge. Like mobile gaming is this like monster constantly eating up people's time and money. It makes up something like 40% of all like video games being done. It might even be more than that. I can't remember the exact statistic. But the influence of the success of Candy Crush Saga, absolutely massive. So it could be King. I mean, you could even go back further and say that it's like Blizzard, because really like World of Warcraft was the first like mega financially successful live service project. So you could say Blizzard, but I think that's maybe taking it back a bit from your original question. I think if we're talking hardcore games, it's FromSoft. It's obviously FromSoft. Like they basically redefined the action genre. Third person action games work completely different pre and post Demon Souls and Dark Souls. If we're talking wider industry, it's probably like King or Epic. So hopefully that's an interesting answer. Most influential developer, as in a person? Oh, that's an interesting question as well. It's probably one of the indie guys, right? It's probably one of the indie guys, I would say. like the developer of like Stardew Valley. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but it's probably one of those guys. Although to be fair, it's probably the creator of Minecraft. What's he called? Notch. Was that what he was called? It's probably him. Like he's the guy that made the most successful game ever, who sold it for £1 billion or whatever it is. It's probably one of those guys. Rock Lee, no, I did not watch the Bioshock Hub videos. I don't know what that is. I'm really sorry. Concerned Ape, yes, could be someone like that. I think one of the indie developers is probably, if we're talking about individuals, it's probably one of them. I think that I've seen a few people saying Hideo Kojima. I think Kojima was definitely like super influential in the 90s and the early 2000s. I think his work on like Metal Gear Solid like changed how people thought games could be in terms of their cinematic storytelling qualities. But I do think that Kojima's influence has kind of like waned. I don't think he's a bad... This is not me saying he's a bad developer. I don't think he's like a bad developer. I love his games. I think he's an amazing developer. Death Stranding 1 is one of my favorite games of all time. But I don't think many people are trying to be like Hideo Kojima these days. Whereas I think back when Metal Gear Solid came out, lots of studios wanted to make their Metal Gear Solid. So I think that's probably the difference, as it were. Have you played Clair Obscur? Yes, I have. I thought it was very, very good. I enjoyed it a lot. I haven't finished it yet. I need to get around to finishing it. And I hope it finishes. I hope it wins Game of the Year. Over Silksong, sue me. I hope that it beats Silksong to Game of the Year. Even though I just finished Hollow Knight maybe 2 days ago, and I thought it was extremely fun. I was streaming it on Twitch, and it was great. I really enjoyed it. I mean, obviously I would. I sort of can't believe that being such like a big Metroid and Castlevania fan, I kind of can't believe that I hadn't played Hollow Knight yet. But I played it. I finished it. I beat Radiance like 2 days ago, and it was great. Really fun game. Whew. Oh, stomach ulcer. Oh boy. Question, would you ever do essays outside of gaming? Interesting question, my friend, and one which may be answered in the near future. Very interesting question. I have a video planned, which will hopefully be coming in the next couple of months, which is not about a video game. It's still video game adjacent, but it's not about video games per se. I will say no more than that, but know that it is something that is on my mind. I do think that that is something I would like to turn my hand to. The problem is I've named my channel I Finished a Video Game, so the reality is it's quite difficult to pivot out of the video game world. Also, I pretty much only care about video games. I saw someone commenting earlier saying, do I have any hobbies outside of video games? The answer is no. No, I'm only joking. I do have lots of interests outside of video games, but it's one of the things that I'm really, really passionate about. And if you're going to make a really long, like 2-3 hour video, you need to be crazy passionate about it. So yeah, I think that kind of keeps me in the video game space. Happy to hear it. You seem very informed and insightful on a number of topics. Trust me, that is just because you're here in my domain where I am the lord of the channel and everything operates according to my will, and I can make myself seem really clever and good. But there is absolutely loads of stuff that I don't know anything about, and I would be a complete moron about. Start talking about science. Start asking me to speak in other languages. Start asking me about other cultures. Start asking me about, I don't know, basketball. I don't know anything. Yeah, video games I know some stuff about. Question, Breath of Fire, you're interested in the subject as a future video or 2 JRPG? No, I love Breath of Fire. But I think it's too long for a single video. Like, each of the games is like 60 hours long, and there's like 6 of them. So I love Breath of Fire. I think Breath of Fire 4 is awesome. I think Dragon Quarter is a really, really cool game. Really, really cool, really weird mechanics, really interesting. But I don't think it could be a video. I don't think it's actually possible. It would be like 20 hours long, and it would take me like 10 months to make. And in the current YouTube environment, it would probably get like 250k views, and I would go bankrupt, and there would be no more videos ever. Question: I'm also a huge Metroid fan, but I'm hesitant to get Hollow Knight because of how frustrating it is. Should I just get into it? Is it comparable in difficulty to any of the 2D Metroid games? It is substantially harder than those games, to tell you the truth. It also is much more Castlevania than Metroid, to tell you the truth. Metroid is... I think Metroid... The actual combat in 2D Metroid... Obviously, Dread started to like push a little bit into this space with the parrying and stuff. I would still say Hollow Knight is harder than Metroid Dread. It probably reaches... probably about 2/3 of the way through Hollow Knight, it reaches a comparable level of difficulty to the end of Metroid Dread, and then the difficulty continues to rise after that. But I would say it is still a really, really good game, and if you think that you could enjoy it, there's so much to get out of it. It's such a rewarding game for exploration. The mechanics have like... They don't have a lot of depth, but they really reward you when you start to get really comfortable with them, and you can feel really, really like a master of its systems. When you start to dig into like different badges working together and the different combos you can do, and how different bosses are weak to different combinations of badges and that sort of stuff. Yeah, if you think you might like it, I'm sure you probably will. Like, the truth is, with any game where lots of people like it, there's probably tons to love about it. So if you think you might, just give it a try. It's pretty cheap, I think. But I would say it's not too comparable to 2D Metroidvania, no. Suggestion: make a video about making new characters a risk move for video games, and how to balancing out between old and new cast characters or passing the torch. I'm sorry, I think we might have a little language barrier there, because I don't really know what you mean by that. I'm sorry. I'm sure it's a good suggestion. Question: I just finished System Shock 2 inspired by a Bioshock vid. Have you played the remaster? If so, what build did you play? No, I haven't played the remaster yet, but when I most recently finished it, I did a like a regular weapons build, like with... I had a bit of energy, but I stayed away from all the like side points this time around. In fact, I haven't actually done a side playthrough in a really, really long time, and I would quite like to do a side playthrough. I was thinking about streaming it actually, but I ended up not. The next game we're going to stream over on Twitch. By the way, if you guys are interested in joining Twitch, I'm just going to plug it one more time, because we actually do play games over on Twitch. We don't play them on YouTube, but we do actually play them on Twitch. And we're going to play Resident Evil 2 Remake next, because we finished Hollow Knight, and it's been ages since I played a Resident Evil game, and I would really like to play Resident Evil 2 Remake again, because we were talking about the best remakes, and I think Resident Evil 2 Remake might be one of the best remakes, and I would really like to play it again and like re-examine it, re-dig into it. Do you finish a video game? I do. It is in the name. So if you would like to see that, there's the link again. It's on Wednesdays, so you've only got 2 days to wait. Well, 3 days. Yeah, it's been really fun. It's been really chill. It's been really casual. Like, it's really good. Do you finish them on Twitch? We kind of dip in and out. I'm thinking I might finish this one on Twitch though. With very long ones, it's a bit of a difficulty, because it's like once a week. Like, you lose momentum. That's a conversation for another time. Oh god. Oh god, are we still up? Are we still live? Oh, are we still here? Everything just wigged out. Can you guys Can you guys still hear me? You still here? We all good? That was weird. YouTube just completely bugged out. Still here? Still live? We're good. Harry, he meant, what do you think about balancing introducing a new character for a series versus using old ones? Ethan Winters instead of Claire/Leon from Resident Evil 7. Ah, right. I see. I understand. That's actually kind of an interesting question. I don't know. Personally, I'm not a massive fan of Ethan Winters. I've got to be honest. I'm not a huge fan of him. I think he's kind of a bit of a like uninteresting character, which is a bit strange because obviously like Resident Evil's not like blessed with crazy complex character depth, but he's a bit like bland. I think they've done a good job of jazzing up the Resident Evil characters as the games went along. Like Jill Valentine's got her like sassy action girl Lara Croft thing. You know, Chris Redfield becomes like sort of a macho boulder puncher. Leon's like the one-liner kind of, you know, kind of 2000s action hero guy. I think Ethan's a bit like he's a tad bland for my tastes. I don't really think he like punches into the upper echelons of Resident Evil acclaim, as it were. I don't think people are going to be like, you know, you don't see many Ethan Winters like profile images and stuff like that. You don't see much Ethan Winters like fan art. I think that's largely because he's like meant to be like a vessel for the player, because like Resident Evil 7 was entirely first person. But then it was a bit odd that in Village he became more of a character. I think it was a bit of an odd choice. But honestly, I don't really like Resident Evil Village, to be honest with you. Everybody was very positive about it when it came out. I'm not a huge fan of it. I find it quite like cobbled together. It sort of like takes weird bits of the series history and just kind of jams them all together in like a really, really incohesive game. That is fun. I'm not saying it's a bad game, but I think it's definitely near the bottom of my enjoyment of mainline Resident Evil games. Yeah. Not that it's bad. It's still a good game. But I do much prefer 7. Although, the final 2 hours of 7, horrible. Like, really, really bad. Like, once you get to the ship and you're playing as, what's she called? His wife. The game just, like dives off the precipice. And the bit in the mine is absolutely awful. I don't know what they were thinking. All the stuff in the house and the grounds of the house, really good. Great atmosphere, cool design, cool little like first person version of Resident Evil 1's design ethos. Really like it. The family is really like captivating. It's really cool. It has a great opening in VR. It's like horrifying, but like, oh, the end. When you get like the fully auto weapons, absolutely awful. I don't know why they decided to do that. Big mess. I would really like to do a Resident Evil video at some point, because I love Resident Evil. I'm a huge Resident Evil like nerd. I've been playing it since, well, I think since the second game came out. It was one of the first PlayStation games I ever played. Round at a friend's house, and I would love to talk about Resident Evil. I would love to like cover some of the weirder spin-offs and stuff. Talk about like Resident Evil Gaiden. Talk about Gun Survivor. Pair that stuff up, tell the story of the franchise, talk about the movies, you know. But it's just one of those series that's it's been covered to death. So it's like a bit like Bioshock. I need to find the right way to do it. I think covering it in eras could work. Like you could do the PlayStation era, you could do the GameCube, PS2 era, you could do, and obviously Code Veronica on the Dreamcast as well. You could do like the action years. You could do the like weird modern stuff. Like I think there is a way to do it that I think would be cool and would be nice. Sent a super. I didn't see anything come through, my friend. I'm sorry if it didn't. It might have been when YouTube was wigging out. I'm really sorry. No more 7-hour videos. I think that what I'll say on the 7-hour videos is that I think for now I need to like stabilize the channel a bit. Like we need to focus on what's going on with getting the video kind of a bit like getting the channel a bit like stable in a good place, and then I think we can buy some time to make a 7-hour video. But I think if I follow up this Bioshock video with a 7-hour video, I will legitimately go out. I will go bankrupt. If I don't release a video now until December, you'll never see me again, because I will be financially destitute. So I need to release some videos because I need to make some money, basically. No, I'm only joking. But I do have some plans for some like shorter style videos, like 2 to 3 hours over the next 6 months, and I think you will really enjoy all of them. So don't worry, I don't think you're going to be missing out on much. You'll still like them, don't you worry. It's crazy to me that we still don't have Code Veronica Remaster/Remake. It's super important for the franchise. It's the least available game in the series. Yes, it blows my mind too. I don't know why they remade Resident Evil 4 over Code Veronica. I think going 2, 3, 4 really doesn't make much sense. And then going into 5 straight afterwards makes even less sense. I think that, yeah, Code Veronica desperately needs a remake. Because Code Veronica is a cool game. Everyone hates Code Veronica now, but I always really liked it growing up. It was cool. It was a Dreamcast game. People don't realize how awesome the Dreamcast was. It was such a goddamn cool console. I desperately wanted one. I never had one until much later in life. But Code Veronica was so cool. It was Resident Evil on Dreamcast. It was full 3D. The camera moved. You played as Claire Redfield, who's awesome. She had only been in Resident Evil 2, and it was cool to see her come back. You know, hopefully we will get a remake of it. I think someone in the chat said one's been confirmed. Hopefully we see something on that, because Capcom are really churning stuff out at the moment. They've got Onimusha Way of the Sword coming. Hell yeah! Are people in the chat excited for Onimusha Way of the Sword? I hope you are. I feel like I'm the only person in existence who's hyped for that game. It looks freaking awesome. It's like a third-person action game that is not designed after From Software principles. It looks like Onimusha. You're sucking in souls. You're moving around. You're dueling people. Absolutely, it looks cool as fuck. Will they still make Steve Burnside a cartoon character? I hope he is. Steve Burnside is goofy fun, and if they make him a serious, edgy guy, I don't want that. I don't want serious, edgy guy. I want goofy, loser teenager. You know? Are you going to retroactively add the new Onimusha game to the retrospective? No, but I will probably do a video on it. Although saying that, I'm really bad at my follow-up videos, because I really need to make an Indiana Jones and the Great Circle video. But I keep putting it off. But I really need to get around to doing that. Like, it feels ridiculous that I have made the most viewed Indiana Jones video game video on YouTube by some distance, and I have never spoken about the actual good Indiana Jones game that came out recently. I'm very aware that discrepancy exists. So I need to get round to that. I was waiting until the DLC came out, but the DLC is now out. So now I need to fit that in somewhere. And I think the way I'm going to do it is I think I'm going to do like a sort of twin coverage piece about the Dial of Destiny killing Indiana Jones and the Great Circle saving Indiana Jones, and how the future of the franchise lies not in movies but in video games. I think that's what the way I'm going to approach it, because if you remember from the Indiana Jones retrospective, it actually came out before Dial of Destiny, and it was kind of hopeful that Dial of Destiny would be a good send-off. And spoilers for a video that doesn't exist yet, I didn't really like it. So I think it would be interesting to talk about why did Dial of Destiny not work, and why does the Great Circle work so well. I think that would be an interesting way to approach the subject that might have a bit more texture than just here's a review of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. So yeah, that's probably what I think I'm going to do about that. Harrison Ford doesn't have to get old in video games. Hell no. I was very suspicious of it's Troy Baker, isn't it, as Indy? But I think he actually does a great job. And the thing is that kind of works because what's he called was already doing a great job as Indy in freaking what's he called? What's the voice actor for Indiana Jones in Fate of Atlantis called? He's called... how's it gone out of my mind? Doug Lee, that's it. Doug Lee. Doug Lee has already been doing an awesome job as Indiana Jones in previous games. So we've already established that other people can be Indiana Jones and it works in video game form. So this is the future of the franchise. More video games, less movies. That's the one. Ferg LBC, thank you so much for the super chat. Underrated / hidden gem video game videos always seem popular. Would you ever consider doing a video along those lines? Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think I've done videos like that in the past, to be honest. I think the Vagrant story video and the Eternal Darkness video, they're both definitely in that spirit. You know, they're kind of like, they're not super underrated. They're fairly well known, but then they're not super popular series. Yeah, that's definitely still on the cards for me. I mean, I think I talk about the Prey video a lot. I think Prey is like the definition of an underrated video game. Like, people do not understand that Arcane's Prey is one of the best games ever made. But yeah, that's definitely on the cards for me still. Yeah, for sure. I'd love to do a video about Okami. You know, Grasshopper and Hideki Kamiya's, you know, Eastern mythology dog Zelda game. I'd love to do a video about Okami. I think that'd be cool because obviously they're making Okami 2, and so I think it would be an interesting video to do before Okami 2 comes out. I think that could be a cool one. Yeah, but yeah, for sure. I definitely think that's something I'll consider in the future. It's definitely still something I want to be doing. I remember you gave a shout out to fellow miniature painters in an intro of a video not too long ago. Do you paint or play miniatures or play tabletop games aside from Magic the Gathering? I don't actually. I'm actually extremely bad at painting miniatures. Once a long time ago, I attempted painting Lord of the Rings Warhammer, and I'm so bad at painting. I would need to practice a lot. But I have friends that are really into Warhammer, and I'm always in awe of the stuff they do. And I have actually a few times paid for them to do little miniatures. Let me get a cool one. Here it is. Oh, there was another super chat from Jeremy Miller. Hey man, big fan. One thing I always love about your videos is how you weave in the developers' journeys with the games being told. Would you ever consider doing a retrospective solely on a developer? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. I definitely. I have thought about doing like a Shinji Mikami one. So here's two ideas from the vault. I have thought about doing Hideo Kojima before Metal Gear Solid. So kind of like a Snatcher, Police Noughts double feature talking about Kojima's life before he became Mr. Metal Gear Solid. And I have thought about doing Shinji Mikami post Resident Evil 4. So, you know, Vanquish, God Hand, Shadows of the Damned, Evil Within, that sort of thing. Talking about these guys. The only problem with that is it's quite hard to advertise on YouTube. So it's quite hard to convey to someone what this video is about. So I think the Hideo Kojima one could do quite good because Hideo Kojima is very recognizable. You can do a cool thumbnail with Snatcher on one side with Police Noughts on the other. It's quite gripping. It's got that anime thing going. Works well as a thing. The Shinji Mikami one less so. I think people know Resident Evil more than they know Shinji Mikami. And I think most of the other games that he's worked on probably don't have enough like reach to... So, like, working out a title that's going to work on YouTube is, like, tough. So, that's the only thing that kind of prevents me from doing that. But that's not going to necessarily stop me. That Hideo Kojima one I thought about quite a bit. So, maybe that's one I would like to put together at some point. Anyway, I was going to show a miniature that I had a friend of mine paint. Let's see if anyone in the chat. Oh god, he's got a little bit of dust on him. I need to give him a clean. I'm showing him off, and I've not looked after him properly. That's shocking behaviour. Right, does anyone in the chat know who this chap is? Come on, focus. Go on, focus. Oh, it's not gonna focus, and you're never gonna be able to see. Do it. Tap the screen. It's not gonna do it. It's not gonna do it. But does anyone know who this is? It's a miniature I had a friend of mine paint for me, and I freaking love it. Gonna put your hand behind him like a makeup tutorial. I don't think that's working either. I think it's the crappy camera I'm using to do streaming on. Red's just got it in one. The nameless one from Planescape. Yes, it is. They released these little miniature versions of the nameless one from Planescape Torment, and I freaking loved them, and I desperately wanted it, but I can't paint for shit. But my friend agreed to pay it for me. I think he did an awesome job. I wish I could show it off to you, but the flipping camera is just bugging out. But yeah. Now that's a game that would be a cool video. Planescape Torment. Mort. Most underrated PC RPG companion in any game. Best ending in the world. You can convince your alter ego to commit suicide to win the game. What the hell? Oh god, I've probably just demonetized this whole video, haven't I? Not that. I didn't mean that. You can't convince anyone to do that. Flipping YouTube. I should have said unlived or whatever the kids say. Unalived. God damn, I probably ruined this whole YouTube thing. I'm probably going to get like a content strike now, aren't I? Oh god. Incoming death of I finished a video game because he spoke like a normal person on a stream instead of a yeah, in Minecraft. I meant in Minecraft. Yeah, that's what the kids say. That's what I meant. You should take a picture of the mini and post it on Discord for people to see. Yes, I'll do that after the stream. Great idea, Sam. Yes. Rookie mistake. Yeah, I know. That's why I don't do these streams all the time. I'm not a natural streamer. I don't think I'm a very like compelling person on camera and on the mic. You know, I'm a good like historian. I'm a good storyteller. I'm not very compelling in person. You know, I'm just sort of a normal, very nerdy guy. You know, like I don't think I'm like dripping or oozing with charisma. Yeah, it doesn't come naturally for me to say these things. Do you ever struggle with how to start off a video script-wise? I'm working on a script right now. I can't seem to find the right words for the beginning, but find it easy to write for the other sections. Yes, it's very, very difficult. It's very, very difficult. I don't know what to say to you other than it is hard. Working out how to start a video is really difficult. And I probably redraft the start of my videos the most of any section in the whole project. So it is really difficult. And sometimes an intro just falls out of you that's like amazing. Like for example, I think the introduction to the Castlevania video, I don't know how I came up with that. It's so fucking good. Like I don't mean to toot my own horn or come across as arrogant, but I've been chasing that high forever. It's such a good intro. And the same with the Vagrant Story intro. That little anecdote about Kojima and Matsuno hanging out watching John Carpenter's Vampires. No, it's not Vampires. It's Dracula, isn't it? It's not John Carpenter, is it either? I've forgotten the story despite bigging it up. But anyway, it's such a good intro to the video. And other times I write an intro and it's not very good. Like I think Dishonored 2 doesn't have a very good intro. And I think that Jade Empire doesn't have a very good intro. And I think that what's another one that doesn't have a good intro? I think that the intro to Lord of the Rings, really, really pompous intro. Like, I think that the intro to the Lord of the Rings video is like super pompous. Bram Stoker's Dracula, that's it. Fucking John Carpenter. What am I talking about? Yeah. The intro to the Lord of the Rings video, super pompous. And like, I watched that back and I'm like, God, that's you were really huffing your own farts when you wrote that, weren't you? To be fair, Jade Empire is one of your very first works. I actually think that the Jade Empire video is actually okay. I think a lot of YouTubers out there probably look back at their early videos and think, my God, this is like unwatchable nonsense. But I think the Jade Empire video has some solid points in it. It's got some good critique. It's got some good assessment in it. It's got some cool contextual stuff about the state of Eastern style video games at the time that it released. I think it's got some body to it. It's just kind of badly put together. God, I'm running out of water. John Carpenter's vampires. That's exactly what I mean about lacking charisma and the ability to talk on camera. Just saying absolute nonsense. Guys, I'll probably bite the bullet and get Hollow Knight next time it's on sale. Hopefully there's a Switch 2 update. It runs at 60 frames per second locked on Switch 2. I know because I just beat it myself. And yeah, there's no better time to check it out. Right, I have finished my water, which is probably a good sign that I should bring the stream to a close. I will end it by saying once again, please, for the love of God, give me your money. No, that's not what I'm going to say. I'm gonna link the Patreon once again and say, if you want to rewind through the stream, see the presentation, see the thought process behind all this, I think stuff is going to get really difficult on YouTube over the next 12 months. I think they're making changes. They're going to make it tough for channels like mine. And the reality is that Patreon is the way to keep all this going. And so if you do want to support the channel, the link to Patreon is there. I just uploaded a new exclusive video about Chrono Trigger. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope it's a good watch. Can we give you snacks instead? It's tough for you to get them to me because that's food, which doesn't traditionally travel well through the internet, and particularly through YouTube. But yeah, so if you can find it in yourself to support the channel through Patreon, that would be amazing. If you can't, no worries, that's cool. I understand what life is like. I understand what the economy is like in most countries and what working is like. It's not lost on me that I really appreciate that it's a big thing for me to ask this of people, and it's an even bigger thing for people to actually do it. So, yeah. Yeah. And on that note, I guess I will see you guys on... Wait, people in the chat saying there is John Carpenter's Vampires. I knew I wasn't wrong. John Carpenter's Vampires. I knew it! You guys gaslit me into doubting my own story. I knew it, god damn it. Catch a Ken, thank you so much. That's crazy generous of you, my friend. Man, thank you so much. That's absolutely awesome of you. I really appreciate that absurd generosity, man. Thank you so much. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the videos, and yeah, hopefully they're here for a long time for you to enjoy. Thank you so much. I don't know what to say to that. Other than that, John Carpenter's Vampires is a movie, and I wasn't wrong. Everybody thought that I was taking the piss, but it is real. Getting Bram Stoker's Dracula confused with John Carpenter's Vampires when John Carpenter's Vampires is a thing, and that's what Matsuno and Kojima were watching. Okay. Yeah. As for what's next, I will do like social media posts and stuff when I'm ready to reveal the next video. It probably won't be for a couple of weeks. I want to keep this one like a bit more under wraps, I think. Get it moving along before I reveal it to people. But if you want to hang out on Twitch, I finish a video game on Twitch every Wednesday. We're going to be playing Resident Evil 2 Remake, hanging out, having fun. It's a similar vibe to this, but with like way less people. So if you ask the question and you want your question to be heard, that's the way to get it heard. Jump across to a completely different platform and ask again there. Yeah. So that's it. Wednesday, Twitch. I'll see you there. To everyone who's super chatted, thank you so much. Especially Catchaken, coming in with an absolutely ridiculously generous super chat. That's like blown my mind. I appreciate you so much, man. That's crazy. Yeah, I'll see you guys, well, next time around. Ta-ra. Have a good Sunday. I'll catch you all very, very, very soon. Bye-bye.